In today's session of Divorce Court, Rodney Hall says Edelia's family is ruining their marriage.
Our family's freeloaders. They always want us to do things for them, take them places, give them money.
If they need some help, I will help them.
What's the problem with her mother babysitting?
If my mother was around and alive, I wouldn't have got charged anything.
But she says he's a control freak and she wants out.
He blocked your line so that your mother and family couldn't call you.
They can call me.
What is that all about?
I blocked the calls because I didn't want them making and leaving threatening phone calls.
He didn't want my mom to come to my house. He didn't want me to let me talk to my friends. You say you love me, you care about me. Why are you doing this?
Today, Edila Pinedo squares off with Rodney Hall in this session of Divorce Court.
All rise. Court is now in session. Maybelline Ephraim presiding. You may be seated.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is the matter of Rodney Hall versus Edila Pinedo. Mr. Hall, I'm advised that after 6 months of marriage, you want a divorce. Now, you tell me what happened in 6 months that you want to end it.
Well, Your Honor, I love my wife, but the reason that I'm here because our family's freeloaders.
That's not true.
Her family is freeloaders?
Yes, they are.
So what does her family being a freeloader have to do with you and Mrs. Pinedo?
Because they always interfere and always want us to do things for them, take them places, give them money, for example.
No, it's not true, Your Honor.
Hold on, Ms. Pinedo. Let me hear what he has to say. Then you can tell me what's not true.
For example, one of the examples is that when we were living in the same household together, they would always expect us to get up early in the morning, take them to work, pick them up, and that caused a problem. And if I didn't want to, for one day, me and the sister got into it because I wanted to pick her up from work.
You and her, Mrs. Pinedo's sister got into it?
That's correct.
Because you wouldn't pick her up from work?
That's correct. I had something else to do that day.
What do you mean got into it? What did she say?
We got into a big argument. She told us to get out of the house, told us that we were no good, that she only married me for particular reasons, for money, so she can get her papers and so forth.
To get out of the house, were you living with her family?
Yes, we were.
So if you were living with her family, were they providing a roof over your head?
Yes, they were.
So they asked you to pick them up and take them to work in exchange. You couldn't do that?
But we were paying bills. We were helping paying with the bills. So
how do you call them freeloaders if you were living with them?
It was just a momentary situation while we got our own house.
You said something about she only married you for money and to get her papers?
That's what her sister told me that day.
For immigration, you're saying?
Yes, ma'am. That's what her sister told me that day when she got mad.
That's what her sister told you?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that what your wife told you?
No, ma'am.
And what kind of money did you have that she married you for money? You're living with her family. What kind of money you had?
We was in the process of getting our own house, ma'am.
You were in the process of getting your own house?
Yes.
What does that mean, in the process of getting? What is that all about?
We was in transition of moving into our own place.
But she married you for money, which seems to say that I already have it.
I already had my own place, and she was staying with her family. When her mother went to Mexico, I in turn moved in momentarily with her because we had recently got married.
All right, but you had your own place.
Yes, ma'am, I did.
So why didn't you move into your place? I don't hear an answer.
You're correct. I mean,
I'm still listening.
I just chose not to. I moved in with her.
Ms. Pinedo, tell me your side. What do you have to say about all this?
Well, I feel in the middle, between him, the man I love, and my family. And I'm the oldest of my family. I always, if they need some help, I will help them, And he was kind of mad because, I was helping them.
Well, help is one thing.
Had you always done that?
Because if one day I will need some help, I know it's my family. They were going to be there too.
Hall, it's your turn to be quiet.
They're going to be there for me too. Like right now, when this situation, when we got into, my family was there to help me, and he was, threatening all the family and saying, that, something is going to happen, and, I didn't like that.
How did the two of you meet?
We meet at his job.
How long did you date before you married?
About 4 months.
What is he talking about? Your family was always borrowing money from you?
Because when my mom left to Mexico, he came to the house, and then when my mom came back from Mexico, we decided to move to our own place. And then that's when we started having problems because my family was asking me for rides to go to the store because they didn't have a car. I was the only one who had a car. And then they asked me, and we were living 25 miles away from them. And, I asked him, can I give him a ride? And he got mad because, I was helping my family too. I understand that.
Were you working at this point once you got married to him?
Yeah.
So now what are you saying? He isolated you from your family and he wouldn't let your family call?
He blocked my mom's number. I don't know what reason it was, but he didn't want my mom to come to my house. He didn't want me to let me talk to my friends. He said that he was scared because I was going away from him he thought that probably my family, my friends, they were going to push me to decide to not live with him. But that's not right, because if I wanted to decide to live with him, I will think about my own.
So your mother's phone number, he blocked your line so that your mother and family couldn't call you.
They can call me, yeah.
And
what is that all about?
The reason that I blocked the mother's number because of the threatening phone calls that they were leaving.
That's
they were
not
leaving
true.
number
That's
of messages
not true,
on
Your
the
Honor.
voicemail saying
And what were they saying?
They were saying that because we wouldn't come give them a ride, don't ever come down there, find another babysitter.
Is that a threatening phone call?
Yes, it was.
That's not true.
Yes,
That's
it
not
was.
true,
Hold
Your
on a
Honor.
second, Mr.
I mean,
That's
all
not
I was
true.
trying to do was protect my wife from being hurt. For them to call and tell her to find another babysitter or not to ever come down there because we wouldn't come get them a ride, I didn't think that was right. So why should I let them type of calls come through
Your
my
Honor,
phone to
that's
go to
not
my
true.
wife?
That's not true. Because,
That
you know,
doesn't
my
sound true
sister,
to me.
my mom, I asked my mom, did you really say that? And my mom said, no, I didn't say that.
Yeah,
you know,
but
my
your sister
sister's a
said it.
teenager. She's only 16, you know. She just talk on the phone and says whatever, you know, because she was mad because he didn't let me go out with my mom. Even on Thanksgiving, we went somewhere else to my friend's house, and he didn't want me to go to my mom's house.
He wouldn't let you go to your family's house for
He didn't let me go
Thanksgiving
to my
dinner?
mom's house. And I don't
didn't
know. I
stop her
asked
from
him
going. Did you go to your
so many
family's house
times.
for
I said,
Yes, we did,
you know
but I
why
didn't
you
stop
didn't
her
let
from
me
going.
go?
I gave her an option. She wanted to go to her friend's house. We got up
No,
early
no,
that
you
morning,
didn't.
and I said, "What do you want
that's
to
not
do?"
true.
She
That's
said
not
she
true.
wanted to go to
I
her
asked
friend's
him. I
house,
wanted
and
to
that's
go.
what we
Both
did.
of you are
wanted to
talking
go.
at the same time. I can't hear you.
We went to her friend's house. She made the decision of where she wanted to go.
No,
that
I
day.
didn't make
No,
no decision because you told me you're not going to take me.
I didn't have to take you. You had
no,
access to the car.
You said no.
How
no.
many cars did you have?
I had my car. I had my car, and I said
car.
I'm going to drive the car, and he he just stared at me like this, you know, and I was like kind of scared because the way he looked at me, I was scared, you know, probably I
Whose car was it? Yours or
It was
Mr.?
my car.
So you had a car when you
Yeah.
met him, and
Yes,
you
sir.
didn't have a car.
I had 3 cars.
So then what was the problem with the
She
car?
could have went. I didn't stop her from going anywhere.
No, you did. You
I mean,
stopped
just
me
like she
because
said,
every time
because
you
she
said,
looked at me because
you
I
know,
had a
if you
blank
walk away from
expression
that
on my
door,
face.
something's
She
gonna
automatically
happen.
assumed something was going to
I can't hear
happen.
both of you because you had a blank expression on your
Right.
face.
I mean, if she wanted to go, if I didn't give her no smile or no laugh or no giggle, she automatically assumed that I was mad.
What some blank expressions say, no, we're not going there.
Your
Did you
Honor,
have that type of expression?
I didn't. My expression was totally blank. I mean, it wasn't a no expression that she
Okay,
ever
so
seen in
don't
the
you know how to
past.
talk?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
So did you say to her when she said, I want to go to my family's house?
I just didn't say anything.
So give me an example of that blank expression. I want to go to my family's house. Give me the expression. Now that says to me I'm not responding to that request.
Your Honor.
That's right, and that's
And,
all it was.
And then also, you know, about the babysitter, he didn't want me to take my babies with my mom, you know. If I would take
So
him
you
to-
have you have children?
2.
That you had before you met him?
Yes.
And your parents were the babysitter for you?
My mom
Your
was
mother.
babysitting my babies, and he
And
didn't
that's
want.
what was going on when you met
Yeah,
him?
that's what we got into because he didn't want my mom to take care of my kids because he said, "Why is your mom is charging you money?" I said, "Well, my mom needs money too. You know, if I go to a daycare, it costs me
You
more
have to pay
money."
them.
And then my mom charged me. I know because I told him when I moved with him. I told him I'm gonna help my mom. If I have something, I will help her. You know, she only charged me $200 for 2 kids.
$200 a week?
200.
A month?
No, a month is $400. I don't think so. It's like so expensive because if you go to a
$400 a month
daycare-
for 2 kids, and if you had put them in child care, would it have cost you more or less?
It would have been more, but
So what's the problem with her
But
mother
if my
babysitting?
mother was around and alive, I wouldn't have got charged anything. I didn't feel that. I felt that was too much. I felt that was too much for a grandmother to take care of her own 2 kids,
Now you-
especially when you're providing food and everything else.
When divorce court returns, Edelia's sister takes the stand and wears out her welcome.
He may not be the only person who didn't like you, and in a minute, if you don't sit down, I'm going to be in that category.
Are you involved in a dispute with a neighbor, friend, relative, or business person? Take your case to a new court show and be represented by a prominent attorney. Call 877-777-0099. Divorce court is back in the case of Rodney Hall, who says Edelia's family is a bunch of freeloaders who ruined their marriage.
So if your mother were alive, you wouldn't have charged her. Your mother wouldn't have charged
me
anything.
nothing. My mother would have been more than happy to take
But
care of my
that's a
kids.
big if. That's your mother. What was the final thing that broke up this marriage in 6 months?
Because he's, you know, one day after Thanksgiving, I threw the card to him because he pissed me off because he was saying that, you know, he was threatening my family that he was going to do something bad to them. And I got real scary. And then I told him, you know what, why you do this to me? Why, if you say you love me and you care about me, why are you doing this? I just moved with him for a month, only for a month.
You lived together for a month and all of
yeah.
this occurred?
Yeah.
So
And then
once he took you away from your mother's house, living together at your
He
family's
got mad
house,
because,
then
you know,
things changed and he didn't want you to be around your family.
Yeah, because he got mad because I let borrow from my money from my sister. She's, you know, I'm the oldest sister of the family. Sometimes, you know, I know that if they need something from me, if I can, I will give them, right? But sometimes I think so. Like sometimes there's
just
a,
'cause
When
you're
you
older
left
doesn't
him,
mean
so
you
you
have to
left
take
him,
care
what
of him.
happened?
when I left him, you know, I just took my stuff and then, you know, all my clothes and all my belongings, and then I just went to my mom's house.
You went back to your mother's house?
Yes, I went to my
So
mom's.
did he do anything to you before you left?
Well, I was scared to him because I received a call like somebody was threatening, you know. They called to my house, and then I was so scared I couldn't go to work because I was so scared to walk away, or probably I thought that he was gonna, you know.
Was the call
Yeah.
coming from Mr. Hall?
I don't know who it was, but a friend of him. Yeah.
What's
and
the
he-
age difference between the two of you?
10 years.
10 years age difference?
Yes, ma'am.
So where do you get this controlling factor that you think that you can control your wife and tell her what to do and what not to do?
It wasn't
and blocking your family, her family's calls to the house?
I blocked the calls because I didn't want them to be making and leaving them threatened phone calls. All I was trying to do was protect my wife from
But
being
that was
hurt.
What's your
threatening-
background and training that you think you can protect people and that's your way to do it?
I was in the military, Marine Corps.
You in the military?
Yes, ma'am.
Which part?
U.S. Marine Corps.
So you think you still in the military, she's your subject?
No, ma'am.
So were you an officer in the military?
No, ma'am, I wasn't.
Your Honor.
Did you get kicked out?
I got a honorable discharge after 4 years.
Your Honor.
So I don't understand that then. If you got an honorable discharge from the military, they taught you a little ethics there, I believe, 4 years. What made you attracted to, you said Miss Pinedo was only attracted to you for money. What made you attracted to her?
I just thought she was a beautiful person. And once we started going out, I got to know her. I thought she was a very sweet person. I still think she's a very sweet person.
But you thought you could control her, and that didn't quite happen.
I wasn't
Your
trying to
Honor,
control her.
I
I didn't
left
want to
him
control her.
because
I
he
was just
tried
trying
to
to
choke
protect
me.
her.
He tried to choke you?
Yes, he did.
When?
Before Thanksgiving, and then I said, you know, I didn't call the police, I didn't call nobody. He just choked me, and you know, my throat was hurting me for a week, and I didn't call anybody. And
Why did you choke her, Mr. Hall?
It was a response to when she threw a car at me and hit me in my ribs.
Through a
But-
car?
Yes.
It was
What, one of
a
the
small
kids'
car.
toys?
It was a toy
It
car,
was a-
and he
it was a
bent
die-cast
over.
car.
I don't think so. I hit him.
Wait a minute. Let me just address both. Whether it was a small car.
It's a small
Wait a minute,
car.
Miss Pinedo. Whether it was a small car. See, you didn't tell the whole story. And that's what happens, too, in domestic violence. You told me about him choking
But he
you.
was threatening me
Miss
first.
Pinedo,
He was threatening me first.
threatening you is one thing, which is not good. But threats alone, which are just words, are not, you cannot respond to that with acts of violence.
But why he grabbed my neck like
Because you
that?
don't, that's what happens when you throw things at people.
But
You-
if he said that he
Miss
really
Pinedo,
loved me,
close
he
your
would
mouth for a
control himself.
minute and listen to me. When you throw things at people, you don't know what their response will be. So the fact that you threw a
But
little...
I don't think so. It hit him hard.
Okay. You don't want to listen to me. What do you want?
I
Next
just
time
want my
somebody may
furniture
kill
back.
you if you
Because
throw something.
He still had my furniture back, and I keep asking, you know, I wanted my furniture, and I don't have no money, and then it cost me too much money to get it from 25 miles where he lives to my mom's house. It cost
Is this
me like,
furniture you had before you met him?
Yes, I had this furniture before I got
I have
married
a witness
with him.
over here. What do you have to say? Come forward real quick. What's your name?
Lulu.
What are you here for?
I'm
Lulu.
Edila's sister.
What are you here for?
Once I was at home by myself, and I had received a phone call, and I just they told me that my blood was gonna be on the wall and this and that, so I got
But
really,
that phone call didn't have
All
nothing
right.
to do
Do
with
you know
us.
if it was from him or not?
I don't know because you know
Okay.
That phone call
I
had
knew.
to do
All
with
right.
your
Thank
brother.
you very much. You don't know who it was from. You can't assume that it was from Mr. Hall.
But he didn't like me at that time, so I thought it was him.
And he may not be the only person who didn't like you. And in a minute, if you don't sit down, I'm going to be in that category. So have a seat. Now, why are you keeping the furniture, Mr. Hall?
Because she left. She left the furniture. Why should I give her something when she's just going to leave it behind? I
You know,
mean,
but if
I
it
took her to
was
work
mine-
that day, and I come home, and I go home, she's not there. She took everything else. Why didn't she take the furniture? Apparently, she didn't want it, so why did she leave
No,
it?
I want
Let
it,
me
but
see
I
your-
don't have.
whose
I
furniture
have
is
a
it?
receipt with me that
Let me
the
see the
purchase.
receipts. So you're saying because she didn't take the furniture with her, she must not want it.
She took
now, did she
everything
have
else.
a truck or was she supposed to take it on her back?
She took everything else.
But I couldn't take it at that time because
Clothes
it
and
cost me a
shoes
lot of
and things
money.
you can put in a car. Can you put furniture in a car?
You could put it on the truck.
But
Did
it
she
cost
have
me
a
a
truck?
lot of money.
She had all day to do it.
When divorce court returns, the judge renders her verdict. And an update on the case of Lori Womack versus Michael Womack.
I told her all the time, look, give me a little bit of space, let me breathe. I didn't have a chance to experience life. I didn't have a chance to do anything.
Divorce Court will be back in session in a moment. Divorce Court is back in the case of Edila Pinedo, who says her husband, Rodney, was so controlling he refused to let her spend time with her family.
You said you bought this before you married him?
Yeah, before I got married.
Yeah, I see the date is January of '99. And you didn't marry, according to my records, until September of '99. So now you know this is not your furniture, don't you know that,
That's
mister?
correct.
So because she didn't come and get it, you figure she doesn't want it.
She don't want it. I mean,
Well,
she
she
didn't
told
want
you
it.
she
She
wants it now.
I do want it.
Once she told you she wanted it, you're
never told me
figuring.
she wanted it.
Excuse
Yes, I
me?
did.
Excuse me? What did you say?
I said she never told me she wanted it.
So you
I
never
did.
let him know
yes,
that you wanted
I did. I told him I want my furniture back. And he keeps saying that, yeah, come and get it, and, I want him to pay, my delivery because it cost me $150 and it's too much for me, and I have 2 kids too. And I have
Well,
to take
I'm not
care
going
of
to make
everything.
him pay for the delivery. It's your furniture and you want it. If you want the furniture, you go and get it. But you telling me and saying that she didn't want it, that's why she left it.
No,
And I would
no,
give it
I
to her.
never
She
said
told
that
me.
I was gonna
Miss
leave
Pinedo,
that for him.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that for 1 minute that you are leaving the furniture with him. As hard as you've worked and you're helping your family and out, and this is a man that says you married him for money, so certainly you have enough money for furniture. And no, you don't need her little pieces of furniture that she has, and you have your own house anyway. I'm sure it's furnished, right?
That's correct.
You're just being evil. You're just being evil, that's all. And keeping her furniture, you think it'll make her come back.
Maybe.
And she'll do what she wanted to do. You say maybe?
Yeah, maybe it will make her come
It
back.
may make her
will,
come back, but you got to give her the furniture.
Your Honor,
No, I don't need you to say anything else. If she wants to come back to you, she does. That's her business. But you're not going to hold her furniture hostage as a way to make her come back. She wants to let go. And that's her decision, and you have to accept that. Now, the court's order is that you will allow her to come and pick up the furniture. When do you want to go?
to get the furniture as soon as possible.
Well, when do you want to go?
As soon as I get back home.
All right, within the next 24 hours. And I suggest that you take someone with you and call the police if necessary to meet you there, or take someone else other than one of your family members, if at all possible. But I suggest you call the police to keep the peace, because I can tell by Mr. Hall's expression that it's not going to be too pleasant if you go there by yourself. Because he's giving me a look that says I don't like your ruling. And he knows he can't do anything to me. But if you go by yourself, he may try something. So call the police, get you some protection, and you give up the furniture and don't act a fool. Court adjourned.
All rise.
When Divorce Court returns, an update on the case of Lori Womack versus Michael Womack.
I was shot by a 12-gauge shotgun.
Shot.
By a
Shot in the
12-gauge
Oh,
shotgun.
my goodness.
By him.
By Mr. Womack.
Yes.
Closed captioning for Divorce Court provided by. Are you involved in a dispute with a neighbor, friend, relative, or business person? To appear before a real judge on a new court show, call 877-777-0099. And now for an update on a previous case in Divorce Court. Michael Womack said he married his high school sweetheart Lori to grant his mother's dying wish. But now he wants out.
I didn't have a chance to experience life. I didn't have a chance to do anything. I told her all the time, look, give me a little bit of space. Let me breathe.
There's a rumor going around that you're with a 40-year-old that's also married, who also has 3 children of her own, and one that's the same age as me that I went to school with.
And Lori said that's not all she had to deal with.
I was shot by a 12-gauge shotgun.
Shot.
By
Shot
a
in the
12-gauge
back.
Oh,
shotgun.
my goodness.
By him.
By Mr. Womack.
Yes.
It killed me. It killed me when this happened to her. And she hung it over my head.
Lori asked the judge to award her half of Michael's $2,000 inheritance from his father's estate. She felt she was entitled to it because his parents were like parents to her. The judge denied her request. Michael now has a job as a corrections officer and plans on enrolling in the police academy this fall. He says it was hard to get through the holidays without his parents, but he and his sister have become much closer. Lori quit her job and moved to another state so that she could try and rebuild a relationship with her own mother.
She left our furniture. She walked out and left it. If she wanted it, she should have took it when she had the chance.
Well, I think it was right because, they made him understand that he needs to take the furniture back to me, that he have to give it to me. So I think she did a good job.
I still love her. What she said was somewhat accurate and true. I guess we'll always be friends. I mean, I still love her. I have no problems with that. She will always be my friend no matter what.